Hi, my name is Corey Gilmore, and today I thought we'd talk about something that's also controversial in the world of Doctor Who. And this actually doesn't have to do with the current series of Doctor Who. However you feel about Jodie Whittaker, there have been many things in Doctor Who's past that people have just been like, oh my god, we can't have that. And one of those things was during 1996. So a little backstory. The classic series ran from 1963 to 1989 with a 18-month hiatus between 85 and 86. Okay, so after the series went off the air in 1989, the BBC always promised they would bring it back somehow. They always said, oh, don't worry, it'll come back. You know, we just need the right deal, the right actors, the right producer, all that stuff. So they never told us when they'd bring it back, and they were kind of non-committal about the future. And then one day, in 1995-ish, I started to hear rumors that Doctor Who was coming back. Except this time, there was a lot of credibility. Because I heard from the Doctor Who news page constant reports about this. And as I did more research and found out what was going on, I realized there was a deal to make a television movie that would serve as a backdoor pilot for a new series of Doctor Who. And the actor who was hired to play the Doctor, the 8th Doctor, was Paul McGann. Now, this movie was made in a co-production between the BBC and Fox. And the idea was that if the movie was successful, they would go to series. So there were lots of things in the movie that they had to update and change and sort of make suitable for an American audience who had probably never seen Doctor Who, because Doctor Who used to air on public television in America. And public television, for those of you who don't know, is a type of television that, apart from spots to advertise their own shows, they don't have any advertising dollars. So, Doctor Who ran there for many years. So, by the time of the 1996 movie, most mainstream audiences had never seen Doctor Who, so there's a lot in the movie that people who are fans of the show kind of don't like. one of those things is the fact that the doctor says, I have a secret. I'm half human on my mother's side. And I'd like to talk about that a little bit. Because people say, oh, he was joking. Except that the entire plot of the movie revolves around him having an organ, a structure of the human eye that Gallifreyans don't have because he's half human. And I want to talk about this idea of the Doctor being half human. This one I actually like because, and just hear me out on this, because if you think about it for a minute, you will see that the Doctor being half human makes some sense. By which I mean, if you go back to a story called The War Games, at the end of the War Games, the second Doctor, played by Patrick Troughton, is going to regenerate. He's put on trial for interfering in people's lives. The Time Lords tell him that as a consequence of his meddling, he's going to be forced to regenerate, and after explaining that the Earth is very vulnerable, and showing various examples of creatures attacking Earth, the Time Lords agree, and they exile the Doctor there. Now, if you don't like the Doctor being half human, let me just ask you, why is the Doctor so concerned about Earth constantly? I mean, there's many other planets in the cosmos, and from a production standpoint, yes, I understand that Jon Pertwee needed to be Earthbound because they didn't have the money to produce big planetary sets and so forth. However, we didn't need to call it Earth. It could have been Pluto, right? So we could have made one standing set that was the planetoid of Pluto, and that could have been the entire Third Doctor's run. Why Earth? And the reason why Earth is because the Doctor is half human, right? So he cares about human beings, and that's why he always picks a human being to go with him or her on their travels, right? See, it makes so much sense if you understand the kind of the backstory. Like, for instance, you know, he could have picked Alpha Centauri to go on his travels. But Alpha Centauri is not a human being, and the Doctor's hearts are not really in the same place for Alpha Centauri. So I hope that that gives some food for thought. And thanks. Leave a comment. And whether you like the doctor being half human or not, I just hope it makes you think about things differently now.